Welcome Lund loyalists to John Lund Unleashed. Those watching on YouTube, on the John Lund Unleashed and Bay Area Sports Collective channels. Viewers on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and Lundos listening to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. John Lund Unleashed, brought to you by Reapel Sports Medicine. Got pain? Check out our revolutionary stem cell treatments. And guys, if low T is bringing you down, Reapel Sports Medicine can put you back in the game. Now all juiced up and ready to go, here's Johnny.
It would help if I did that. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Saturday. I've got a quick one for you today. Sorry, I am going to be so fast today, but I have a business meeting. I know that's hard to fathom with me, but I've got to be somewhere. So I've got to be quick, but we always promise the sixth day, and we will make a short period of time very good today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is episode 165. The Webb Gem, which was Logan Webb last night, was amazing. Schmidt with the slam and the pimp. Are they for real? I got to keep asking myself. But, you know, we're almost to the midway point of the season. I guess we got to stop asking. Now, the Pacers blow it. If you're with us yesterday with me and Larry Kruger in the Krug Show, we always do, well, most of the time we do a bottom of the pint. And we did it for the Giants and the Dodgers last night. And we were split. We were doing Giants, Dodgers on one side and Pacers and Thunder on the other, and trying to give you the information on both of those games. We'll talk about that. Stephen A. Smith caught playing solitaire. I don't know why it pisses me off so much, but I'll explain. They did this Dumber and Dumber thing that was pretty funny, actually. People in the crowd, Kevin Durant on the latest, the NBA's greatest ever vagabond is going to find another team, which I don't know. I don't know what you think about it. We can get into that. Guys who stay their whole career one place, like Steph did or like Kobe did. And then back in the day, everyone did. I mean, you know, Larry Bird and all those guys, they didn't want to jump teams. They wanted to stay with their team and they wanted to make that team great. So we'll get into that with Kevin Durant if that hurts his legacy. And George Kittle spoke. Yesterday we had John Lynch on with Pat McAfee. And yesterday we had George Kittle on with Pat McAfee with one of those weird backgrounds and everything, which was kind of funny. So anyway, we'll get into all those things and do things quickly. Even though we are short on time this morning, we will do randoms, I'm sure, throughout the day. So that is the chalkboard. If you are new around here, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are today only on John Lund Unleashed on YouTube, as well as the Bay Area Sports Collective, which is that big B in the left-hand corner. So make sure that you subscribe to both of those places, John Lund Unleashed and the Bay Area Sports Collective. Please, and have those alerts on. Get that thumbs up. Please give us a like. That helps the algorithm. Okay, this stuff's not half bad. So please, that is very important. We are also on X today. That is the only external place we are, at John Lund Radio on X. Please make sure that you hit us up as well, whether you're watching the show live or a little bit later. You can always hit us up with the comments, and I'm on X a lot, so at John Lund Radio, you can hit me up there as well. And one other thing before we say hello to everybody and say good morning on a Saturday, Dr. Jeffrey Reapel. He is the fine sponsor of the program. If you hit that QR code right there with your phone, you're going to be able to get in there and get an appointment directly. My wife is doing the stem cell shoulder, elbow. She's feeling amazing. Foot, she just did about a second version on that about 10 days ago, feeling great. So make sure that you hit up Dr. Reapel. He is the fine sponsor of the program. You're supporting me by supporting him, and I really appreciate that. And not only does he do great procedures like stem cell, one of the first in California to do it, but I'm doing low T with him. I've done low T for years. It makes you feel a lot better, makes you have better energy. Your metabolism's faster. Just everything is great about it. But with Dr. Reapel, it's awesome because you just do one blood test. Then he does a quick procedure, and it's like 4 months. You're good to go rather than doing those weekly tests. So consider, if you are doing it, see Dr. Reapel about it. He's right there in San Ramon. If you're not in the East Bay, it is absolutely positively worth the drive. So Reapel, if you didn't hit the QR code there, just look on your favorite search engine, Riopelle, Dr. Jeffrey Reapel. And those are not just the two procedures they do. Make sure that you check out the website. Just Google it, and you'll see that they do all sorts of great procedures to make you feel good, look good, men, women, everybody across the board. So please check out my friend, Dr. Jeffrey Reapel, and support the program, and make sure that you tell him that I sent you over. All right, let's say good morning to everybody. Francis is here. Enrique, Joe Schmo. I saw Joe last night. It's very good to see you. Jake is here. Joy is here. Great to see everybody this morning, and I'm sure a bunch of people will join because, you know, I didn't really give a preview, and sometimes I won't show up on a Saturday. Most of the times I do. Probably say 80-20. But you're probably like, well, Lund's probably not going to show up. So hopefully people get those alerts. Everybody will jump into the room. But good morning to everybody. And I hope everybody had a great night. We did. That was one of the more fun, if you jumped in last night, that was one of the more fun bottom of the pints that we did with the Krug show. Just Logan Webb is absolutely great, which we'll get to in a second. Casey Schmitt bouncing back from Colorado, just in the Giants, just in general. It would have been easy after that Colorado loss to kind of hang their head a little bit. You got Yamamoto on the mound. You got the Dodgers. You're at Dodger Stadium. Maybe you're intimidated, whatever the case may be. But, I mean, they kicked their ass from jump. You saw Willy Adames, who we were hoping would have a lingering effect from Colorado, where he hit a couple of home runs and actually hit the ball well. And you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, it's Colorado. I mean, really? But he kept it going, get that first inning home run, get up on the board. And that's huge in any sport. You go up early. All of a sudden it puts the pressure on the other team. So you're up 1-0. Logan Webb feels good about things. He starts to roll. Amazing last night. And then Casey Schmitt could have, again, another guy that could have hung his head. But I said this last night. I said it yesterday. I really believe it because I've heard this is the case, that Bob Melvin went to Casey and said, dude, the job's yours. Maybe a month here. And I don't care if you commit an error in Colorado or you hit a grand slam in LA. You're the third baseman. So relax, play the way you can play. Now, he should have had the play in Colorado. That would have won that game. They would have been fine. But makes another great defensive play. He's a great defender, whether he's playing third, short, second. He's learning first. He would be a valuable asset for this team. Or if he can show something at the trade deadline, somebody's going to go. I mean, who doesn't need most teams? He could play third, short, or second at a really high level, but especially third. And there will be a team that's like, look, I'll take that guy. He's got power potential, and what I'll do is, just as a bad team, like these teams that I tell you that are out of it, the 6, 7, 8 teams that are already out of it here, why not? Why not just say Casey Schmitt's our third baseman, and I bet he turns into, I mean, he reminds me of Chapman a lot. He's got an up-and-down bat as far as, I don't think he's ever going to hit 300 or 280, but I could see him hitting 240 and knocking in 25 runs and playing really good defense, or hitting 20, 25 home runs and playing really good defense. So I think that if Casey Schmitt's a Giant, that's great. If Casey Schmitt is on another team because they needed another bat at the deadline, not that's going to happen in a year or two, because he's kind of blocked on this team. He's not going to play third. He's not going to play short. He could play second. I mean, if that bat really starts to play and you're looking at a guy like Tyler Fitzgerald, who I like his athleticism, but to be completely honest, I've said this for a long time about Casey Schmitt. I like him, about Tyler Fitzgerald. I like him. But I think with his skill set, he could be a really good Super U. He can play the outfield. He can play shortstop. He can play second base. He could do a lot of different things. So I don't know that Tyler Fitzgerald isn't better suited for a Super U role. And if Casey Schmitt shows he's got that much of a bat, he can easily play second base. So anyway, it's nice to have some options, I guess, is my point, and a nice job by Casey Schmitt last night. So let's get into all of those situations. Again, please make sure you're subscribed. You got those alerts on, and hit us with a like if you would. So let's start with, in fact, let's just go to the box score real quick, and then we'll work out from there. As far as last night, if you missed it, you probably didn't. I can see a lot of the names that were here in the bottom of the pint, and yeah, I have felt better. I actually, if I'm being completely honest, had a couple of drinks before we did bottom of the pint. Then I think I only had like 4 beers during, and then we had the bright idea of having a couple of afters. So I have felt better before, but I've also felt a lot worse. But anyway, first of all, let's start with Logan Webb. 2 hits on the night, 2, and both to Teoscar Hernandez. So Teoscar Hernandez goes 2 for 3. The rest of the Dodgers go 0 for 24. Impress your friends with that. 0 for 24 last night if your name was not Teoscar Hernandez. How about that for Giants pitching last night? So pretty good. They only give up the 2 hits. And again, Teoscar Hernandez had a home run to briefly put the game like, oh boy, here we go. But Logan Webb outside of that, and let's just go down to his box or his line down there. Again, goes through 7, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, bunch of ground balls last night, lowers his ERA in 98 pitches, very efficient over 7 to a nice little tidy 2.58. And then you get Rogers in there, and he's having his best season. I mean, this dude is untouchable. I get nervous about Ryan Walker, but they had a big enough lead. They were fine. So Ryan Walker finishes at the end, and they don't have to use Duvall for 2 straight days, which is nice. The thing about it, and then I'll do the offense in just a second, but the thing about Logan Webb that is so huge is that the day before Randy Rodriguez closes, he throws 43 pitches. He's not available. He used, quite a few bullpen arms in that 8-7 loss to Colorado. And so you're turning around, and it was nice that Birdsong had given him 6 in that game. But you're doing that because you know that Logan Webb the next day is going to give you 7. And that's what he does. So it's great, obviously, that he pitches the way that he did. And there's only 2 hits against Giants pitching. Teoscar Hernandez, the other 24, went 0 for 24. The dominance of Logan Webb. But it's also the fact that he goes 7 and gives your bullpen a break. And so then Rogers pitches 1 tidy inning, and Walker can close the thing out. And now you didn't use Rodriguez, so he's available. You didn't use Duvall, so he's available. So if you play a close game, today or tomorrow or whatever, or both, your bullpen is fairly rested. And a lot of it is because Logan Webb is just that good, and you just expect it out of him. So it's like, look, we can use our bullpen before and after him quite a bit because he's going to throw 7. So absolutely huge outing, and the fact that he was completely dominant. And one thing that's really interesting with him is he developed a cutter because he knew that the Dodgers kind of sat on his off-speed stuff. And so he threw the cutter last night 29 times, which was a career high, and he had that ready for the Dodgers, and they were not clearly ready for that. So nice job by Logan Webb. Now, as far as the hitting is concerned, Dominic Smith, you got to look, it's early, it's a small sample size, whatever. He goes 3 for 5. He's hitting 367 as a Giant. Wilmer Flores keeps it up. He's got 2. Casey Schmidt, we'll talk about, we'll show you this in just a second. He hits a grand slam last night. So, a home run from the backup catcher last night. How big of a deal is that? So offensively, 6 runs, 10 hits, the grand slam, the big one, and they hold down the Dodgers. And so now we've got ourselves a nice little tie for first place in the National League West. There you go right there. Very impressive that I would come up with that graphic that I stole. But anyway, 41-29. The Padres lose, and now they're technically 1 back. Again, I just look at the loss column because you can't get back losses. You can get more wins. So there you go. 1 back in the loss column, and the Dodgers and the Giants are tied for first place in the NL West. And we are, let's see, quick man, we're 70 games into the season. So we're not halfway, but you got to start saying to yourself, okay, if you're 70 in and you're right there, you can do it the rest of the season. By the way, did you see the pimp job that Casey put on that grand slam? I'm sure you did, but let's relive it. I love to talk about sports. I've been a sports fan my whole life. I played Little League baseball up to high school baseball. I played lacrosse in high school and college. Could never play football, was never big enough or tough enough. Was never big enough to play basketball, though I played, up until high school, and then they went, dude, you can't play. Point being is that I've never had that happen where, where you smoked a ball so well that it was out of the yard. And it was a no doubter. Like, that feeling must be amazing. I'm not saying it's like sex amazing, but it's got to be pretty amazing. Like, it's got to be a top fiver, right? Because I've done little league home runs where I ran around the bases. I was like a leadoff or a number 2 hitter. I was really fast, stole bases, things like that. But I never had any power. None of that stuff. I had home runs, but they were little league home runs from running around the bases, right? Never over the fence. Never hit one over the fence. So not only did he hit that one and it was like gonzo, but the fact that you could sit and pimp that thing, I would really like that. Some people are like, oh, I'd like to dunk, or I'd like to, do this or do that. I think that would be the coolest thing ever, and especially a grand slam. Like, a home run's a home run. But you're at Dodger Stadium. You screwed up last night against Colorado. You make that play defensively, you probably win. Bob Melvin tells you again, you're in the lineup no matter what. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. And then he rakes one like that off Yamamoto. And you saw Yamamoto's reaction last night. If you watched the game, go back and watch it. Yamamoto is so pissed. He sees it because the pitcher knows, the hitter knows. Everybody in the stadium knows. All the players know. Everybody in the dugout knows. And so Yamamoto just turns, looks, and just, fakes like he's going to turf his glove there, which has got to be another great feeling. But anyway, there's Casey Schmidt hitting the grand slam last night, the biggest play of the game. Here's Bob Melvin post-game talking about Casey Schmidt and how he reacted from the unfortunate incident in Colorado to bounce back and hit that grand slam against the Dodgers.
Like that kind of puts the day before away, and you feel great for him because this kid works really hard to prepare for a game. There's a lot of ability there, both defensively and offensively. The grand slam obviously is the biggest hit of the game and gave Webby a little breathing room. So, hats off to him to turn around the next day and put together a bat like that.
And like I said, I just think it's very reflective of him getting an opportunity. Like if he's in the lineup just that time in Colorado, here's the difference. And why I keep bringing up this fact that he gets to go out there every single day and why it's a big mental advantage for him. So let's say that he's filling in for Matt Chapman at third base. He makes that error in Colorado. When does he get an opportunity to redeem himself? A week, 3 days, 4 days? Maybe they send him down to the minors just because. You know, now he turns around and he knows, like, okay, I should have made that play in Colorado. But I turn around I'm in the lineup. It does not matter. And it's just a massive advantage. And I talk about it all the time as far as, like, you know, Kuminga looks over to the bench. Damn, I'm getting pulled. They just don't have the confidence to know they think they have to be perfect. Like, if I don't make every single play, I'm out of the lineup. And so Casey Schmitt wouldn't have a redemption the next night. He'd be filling in for Matt Chapman. Chapman's back at third base, and Casey Schmitt sitting on the bench going, the last time I saw the field, I made an error and cost our team the game. Conversely, he turns around and they just go, dude, you're in there. It doesn't matter what you do. And he hits a grand slam, and you can just tell he looks completely and very confident. Now, does that mean he's going to keep doing this? I don't know. But it's certainly helping. And what happens is that when you start to be a good baseball team, and you guys know this, but I'm just reiterating it, and go back to 2021 when they won 107 games. I'm not saying that's this team at all. But what you start seeing is I was so worried about organizational depth, and I still am. But then you see a Dom Smith get off to the start. He's getting off to professional at-bats that Lamont Wade Jr. couldn't even sniff this year. So these are all professional at-bats that he's giving you, even if he doesn't get on base. But he's 3 for 5 last night. Yastrzemski, I know, is kind of up and down, but you're getting different contributions up and down the lineup. And when guys come into the lineup, they're prepared to play. So Matt Chapman goes down, and the first thing you think is, oh, man, they're screwed. And then Casey Schmitt responds this way. Or Patrick Bailey, we're screwed. Now, look, there was a ball last night that if it's caught at home plate, they get an out, and they keep the Dodgers off the board, and that was their first run. So, okay, does Bailey make that play? Maybe. But then the backup catcher comes back and hits a home run. So they're showing, and this is what good teams do, okay, we lose a guy. That's going to happen in sports. It happens all the time. It's just a matter of when and how much. So for the 49ers last year, they lose all these guys, the season's screwed. But the Giants, you lose Bailey, you lose Chapman. That's a big deal, man. And yet a couple of guys come in and perform the way that they did, at least last night, and it's absolutely huge for the Giants. One other thing I wanted to throw up here, Giants related. Oh, yeah, probable pitchers the rest of the way. So Landon Roop tonight against Clayton Kershaw. 7:10 p.m. at Dodger Stadium. That's a big one to me because Clayton Kershaw is not exactly Clayton Kershaw anymore, but he's not bad either. So Landon Roop has pitched well for the most part, especially after April. Can he keep that up? And then tomorrow afternoon, Kyle Harrison's an interesting one to me, and Dustin May too. Dustin May's been hurt so much, and he's had all that potential. His numbers don't look great, but he's still fighting back for a number of injuries. So Dustin May can have a great outing. He's got that kind of talent, and so does Kyle Harrison. And with me, and I've said this a lot, and some people disagree, and I understand that, but if you're going to go get a bat, an impactful bat, not just like, I think Kyle Harrison might have to be part of a trade because you've got pitching depth, and guys have passed him up. Birdsong has passed him up. There's other guys. Roop is probably an equal, if not passed him up as well. So all of a sudden, a guy who was the top left-handed prospect in all of baseball and hasn't done anything really to diminish that, could be had. And it's just because not so much that Harrison hasn't been effective. I think that, first of all, he's been slower than we thought in developing. I'll say that. But it's not like his star is not shining still. Maybe not to the extent it was, but he's still not bad. I think he's got lots of potential. It might be in the bullpen for me, but I think Kyle Harrison can be an effective pitcher in this league. But if they need a big bat, given how good their pitching is, I think teams are going to ask for Kyle Harrison. I think they're going to ask for other guys first, but I think they're going to probably settle on Kyle Harrison. And not too long ago, he was the top left-handed prospect in baseball. So a team that needs it, again, some of these teams, and everybody needs pitching. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs pitching. He might be able to fetch you something pretty good that can help your lineup out, and that's what they need. So, look, it's a big outing for Harrison tomorrow, period. But also, it's like if he shows something, it's kind of like, whoa, there's some more trade value for somebody, and you might be able to get a better bat. So, anyway, there's that as far as the Giants are concerned. So WEBB, Gem, Schmitt, Slam. I keep asking if they're for real, but one of the reasons I think they are is because you're starting to see guys like Dom Smith and Casey Schmitt, and guys are stepping up. When you have special seasons, winning seasons, those are the type of things that happen. So, good morning, Kenny. Good to see you, man. SCHMITT is looking better at the plate. Those sliders down and away. Yeah, that dude. How many times did he just swing at that stuff? And that's all they threw him. Like, okay, you want to swing at sliders out of the zone? We'll be more than happy to oblige. One after another after another. And if you can't prove that you can do that, you can't hit at the major league level. So that's a great point by you. Webb would be an all-star starting pitching meet at half of last night's. Yeah, there's no doubt. Paul Skeens is going to be the starter. He's so ridiculous, and he doesn't get the support. But I can't believe Skeens won't be the starter. He's been so good. But Logan Webb is 100% an all-star. Robbie Ray might be. Randy Rodriguez has the ERA, even though what happened in Colorado. But if you're not a closer, a lot of times they don't bring you. So I don't know if Duvall's done enough to be that. But they've got 2 or 3 pitchers that deserve to be on the all-star team. There's no doubt about that. Grand Salami. I love that name. Grand Salami. Good morning, the 1-420. It's good to see you, my friend. So, yeah, good day. Can they keep it up? That's the bottom line. They are tied, the Giants, we're getting close to the midway point of the season, and they are tied with the Dodgers 41-29 atop the NL West. So it is a good morning. As far as the NBA is concerned, the only reason I bring this up quickly is because we were doing this at the same time that we were doing bottom of the pint, and it looked like, and I feel bad for Krug because I think he had a 6-point spread, and they lost, of course, by 7, thanks to Ben Mathurin missing 3 of 4 free throws in the final minute. But I said this yesterday. I thought to myself, well, if Oklahoma City doesn't win this game against the Pacers, they go down 3-1. Does their general manager Sam Presti, do they freak out and try to make a trade? Do they, because right now they're just on this path and they still have a bunch of first round picks, and they don't really need to do anything but keep continuity, win this championship. They're going to have the championship swag, and they can take over the West for a very, very, very long time. But if they don't get it, then you never know when you get back. I mean, it's just, we blew that one, and then you just never get back, or you never win it or whatever. And then the pressure mounts. I think that's what's going on with the 49ers. Like, the longer you get close but don't win, the pressure starts to mount on you. But they tied the series at 2 games apiece. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was absolutely awesome down the stretch. And Indiana loses that one. But I think maybe I don't know if it's the bigger story, the more viral stories to come out were 2 things from last night in that game. Number one, these dudes were hilarious. So, and I wish I had thought of that idea, and I wish more people would do this to call these guys out. But there's the Dumb and Dumber guys, and they had Screamin' A on the orange guy's suit, and they have Kendrick Perkins on the blue guy's suit. And the funniest thing about that was ABC, of course, with, they employ those guys, ESPN, ABC, they employ those guys. And so those guys were in the front row, and they were really hard to miss, and they kept trying to get the cameras off those guys. It was incredible. So whoever those guys are, bravo, boys. That was well done. And like all night long, that's all you can see because they're in orange and blue and everybody else is in yellow. So obviously it stuck out, and they're in the front row, so you can't miss them. So like somebody would shoot free throws or whatever, and they're trying to do these tight shots to not get them on. Tremendous. And then to play into that, and I've got a video and a picture, there's Screamin' A right there. And this isn't during a break because I'm going to show you in a video in a minute. So he's playing solitaire during the NBA Finals as the game's going on. And the reason why that pisses me off so much, and it shouldn't, and I get it, he's an entertainer and he doesn't break it down, but some people actually believe what he says. And he did used to be a really good NBA writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer and other places, but he's not, and he doesn't watch the game. And so when I cover a game, and I've made these myself, I have a chart, and I chart every single play. I have a side place where I write notes. Like, I'm really involved, and I know what's going on in the game. And I did that for years and years and years. And I did pre-half and post for the Utah Jazz, for the Portland Trailblazers, and I did those games with former players, and I took it upon myself to really know what was going on in the game. I talked to players before, I talked to players after, I charted games. Like, I was into it. I went to all the shoot-arounds. Like, it was a big deal to me, and I took it seriously. And here's a guy making $20 million, and he's playing solitaire during the game, and it blows my freaking mind. And you know what? People are just going to think it's funny. Like, let me see if I can find the video of it, because the video is even funnier. Because, like, the game's going on. Is this it right here? Yeah. See, so he's playing, and then look, it's not halftime. Look at the game's going on. Like, and the dude's like, whatever. And then you're going to tell me what's going on at the game. Like, you're going to do the halftime show, which you're being paid a ton of money for. And this is why I'm saying, and I've said this a lot of times, that's fine. I respect Stephen A. from the fact that he makes $20 million and he's found this niche that somehow some people like. I never watched the daytime shows. So I don't know what they're doing, but I have an idea. I know it's, they're screaming, they're yelling, they're making stuff up. I told you, I worked for ESPN for 10 years. You say that, he'll say this. Like, it's just, the whole thing is scripted out, and it's a joke. But you know what? I give him a ton of credit because he's played the system. He knows how it's going. I'll give him that credit. But I've said this before, I don't want them game adjacent. I don't want them in the game. I don't want them close to the game. Like, there's a window, like, okay, have your fun during the day and say stupid shit and scream your head off and do your act and be the lowest form of media that you're going to be. That's fine. And you've gotten paid and you figured out the system. That part, I'm like, good for you. Way to go. I have nothing but respect for that. But I know that you're not working hard. I know from the things that you say that you're not. And the thing with him is he's spread so thin. He does radio shows, TV shows, he's going from one place to the next that he doesn't know really, because he's spread so thin, anything about anything. But if he says it louder and if he screams it and he says it with authority, then people believe it. And it makes us as sports fans dumb and dumber. And that's why those guys have dumb and dumber suits, and it all comes around because they are dumb and dumber, and they make the rest of us dumb and dumber because people, not me, not you, we're too smart for that. But some people actually think they know what they're talking about. Meanwhile, the NBA finals are going on, which he's paid to analyze, and he's playing solitaire during the game. I'm sorry. I think that's ridiculous. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it. Look, you beat the system, man. But if I'm paying somebody $20 million, I'm an executive, they'll laugh it off at ESPN. But if I'm an executive at ESPN, I'm not that happy. I'm not that happy that one of my lead analysts, who says dumb shit all the time, and I really don't care, is playing solitaire. If I'm Bob Myers, for example, who gets lumped in because a lot of people bitch and moan about their pre, half, and post, it's not. Bob Myers is doing a great job. Bob Myers is breaking stuff down. Bob Myers is telling you how players feel, coaches feel, GM feels, team feels, what's going on, where they are, what the pressure's like. He's been there, done that. So I shouldn't be angry about it, but it's just like, oh my God, are you seriously playing solitaire during the NBA finals? Like, it's bad enough when you see a fan, like, sit in front row and they've spent thousands of dollars on something and they're staring at their phone rather than watching the game, but you're actually paid to analyze the game. And then you want me to believe your opinion. You didn't even see the play. Anyway. All right. I'm over that. The latest on Kevin Durant, I feel kind of bad because Kevin Durant is going to go down in history as one of the best players ever. But in my mind, you're going to look at the back of his basketball card and he's just one of the biggest vagabonds ever. And if it's not his way, he wants the highway. He goes to Oklahoma City, doesn't feel like they can win a championship, leaves to the Warriors. The Warriors aren't his team, even though he wins championships, which is something he craved. But it's always going to be Steph's team, so I got to go. I'm going to create my super team in Brooklyn, but you chose the wrong guys. Jackasses in Kyrie Irving and James Harden. That's who you're going to hitch your wagon to. That didn't work out. Wow, that's a major surprise. Decides he wants to go to Phoenix. I'm going to play with my guy, Book, and I'm going to, we're going to create this big thing out there. Nope, didn't work out, even though they have a new owner. So then he wants to bolt out of Phoenix, does not want to be there because now he's getting old and he's got to be able to tell people, look, because he's so worried about what people think, that, no, I got to win a championship and it's got to be my team. Well, if you go to Minnesota, for example, which they're talking about a lot of Minnesota now, that's Anthony Edwards' team. He was there first. You're not going to be seen. You're seen as a hired gun no matter where you go now. And it's too bad because I just wish, I'm not saying maybe he should have stayed his whole career in Oklahoma City. Do whatever you want. But a guy who's now going to go from Oklahoma City to Golden State to Brooklyn to Phoenix, actually started with the Sonics, and that wasn't his fault. But then you take the last part of his career and he's going to go to the Timberwolves. Let's say he goes to the Timberwolves. They got to give up something. So we're hearing like go Bears and picks, that and this, that and the other. All right, so you and Anthony Edwards. If that doesn't work out, are you going to want out of there in a year or two? Probably, because Minnesota's freezing ass. So if you're not winning, the Heat, they're not going anywhere with or without Durant. The Rockets, that would be an interesting one. If I were him, I'd either go to the Rockets or the Spurs because his whole point of this is, A, he wants to get paid still, and B, he wants to win a championship on a team that he can call his own. But the Heat, I guess that would be his team, but they're not winning. The Rockets, they've already got guys there that are established. It won't be his team. He'll be a hired gun. Timberwolves, he'll be a hired gun. The Spurs, that's Victor Wembanyama's team, which is where I thought he might go. And lots of people were saying they thought he was going to go. That wouldn't be considered his team. Now, he could go to the Knicks. He's a bigger star than Jalen Brunson. So maybe if he went to the Knicks, would that be considered his team? Probably not. I mean, like I said, some people don't care about the way that they are seen And I don't know if you care at all whether a guy stays with the team or not. And in this day and age, I understand why guys leave, but there is something to Steph Curry, to Kobe Bryant, to Larry Bird, to Magic Johnson, to guys who just stayed with one team. And that's the way it used to be. And I'm not get off my lawn guy. Like, if you want to go to another team, that's fine. If you don't feel like your team is trying to win a championship or anything, but that's not what he's doing. He's jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing. Like, he just can't make up his mind. Yeah, I want to win a championship, but it's got to be my team. I don't think anybody will come to Oklahoma City. Like, he's just going to these other teams. And although he's going to go down in history as maybe the biggest big man scorer, unstoppable, one of the best of all time, he's done it in a way that's just so weird. And I don't know. You move to Golden State, that's fine. I just wonder, because remember, they had the gold shovels and they were saying, Kevin Durant, they wanted it. I knew he wasn't going to stay here forever. But if he had just stayed, I don't know how many more they get. And then it doesn't matter. And it doesn't really matter anyway. Like, the championships he won here, who's the MVP? He was great in the finals. Like, there's no but you won it with Steph. It doesn't look that way in the record books. And I don't know why he's so concerned about all these other things, but he's not concerned about jumping from team to team to team to team to team. Like, the Suns, essentially, with their new owner, is thinking to himself, well, Durant can replenish my team. That's what I have to do. Because remember, to get Durant, they gave up a bunch. So they don't really have a future. And they have Booker. It's not looking good. So I get why they're going to trade him. And I get why Kevin Durant would want to move. But it's just constant. And if he doesn't win another championship, that's going to be really ugly. And again, these are talking head shows. They're going to talk about it. In my mind, Kevin Durant's one of the best of all time, period. And he's got championships. So that's it. That's all that would matter to me. But he seems to be hell-bent on, I'm going to show them. And I've got to win a championship on my terms, on my team. And I just don't think that there's a team out there where he's going to win a championship and satisfy all these other things. And he's one of those guys, and we all have these friends. He's a grass is always greener guy. Oh, it's going to be better there. It's going to be better there. It's going to be better there. It's going to be better. Like, dude, at some point, I told my son this the other day. As he's embarking on his career journey, I said, you got to know when you're happy. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but sometimes in the moment, you don't know. It's like, this is a really good situation for you. Seriously. No. There's a better one. You're constantly thinking that, right? There's something better. There's something better. There's something better. It's not always like that. And I think Kevin Durant's kind of got that in his head. Like, it's always going to be better. You're going from Phoenix to Minnesota. You think that's going to be better? Okay. And if you don't win there, what? Because then everybody's going to look at you and go, well, the only reason he won was Steph, because he went to Brooklyn, he went to Phoenix, he went to Minnesota, he went to, he was in Oklahoma City, he's all these places. They never won championships. He needed somebody else. I don't think that. I think if you put Kevin Durant in the right situation and he's got a little bit of patience, he could have and should have won titles, but he just was jumping all over the place. And now he's going to be the greatest vagabond to ever play in the NBA. That's the way I see it, because I don't know that he's done after this. I think he'll be in Minnesota for a couple of years. I think he'll not really like it a whole heck of a lot. They probably won't win a championship in Minnesota, even with him. He's really good, but he's hurt a lot during the season, which doesn't put them near the top. That's what happened with Phoenix. They didn't have enough depth. And what's going to happen is when you trade for Kevin Durant, even at this later part of his career, you've got to give up a lot. So Minnesota's not going to just get him for nothing. You're not going to just add Kevin Durant to Minnesota to the current crew that they have. I don't know what Minnesota thinks of Rudy Gobert. I mean, they're not getting Anthony Edwards. But, if I'm Phoenix, for example, I want Jay McDaniels. I mean, and I want a bunch of picks. So you're not going to be adding to your roster. That's the problem with Kevin Durant. You give up so much to get him, then you don't have enough to build around him. The Phoenix didn't have enough depth. That's just what it came down to. Oklahoma City wanted to make him the centerpiece, not Westbrook, not Harden. They wanted to make him the centerpiece, and he thought to himself, well, it's not going to be enough. He's great, but you're going to have to give up something to get him. I mean, if they have to give up Gobert and McDaniels and a bunch of picks, how good are they? Who knows? Anyway, there's my Kevin Durant thought as he jumps to his latest team. And then before we get to Kittle, make sure that I say good morning to everybody because we had a bunch of different people. Hi, JP from the 510. It's good to see you this morning. Baba Booey. Nice to see you, my friend. Tommy, good morning to you. Joji, hello. I think I've said hello to Tony. Daniel, it's good to see you, my friend. Mark, good to see you last night. By the way, Mark, in the bottom of the pint, we had a great time. Bottom of the pint last night. I'm paying for it a little bit today, but it's fine. I'm good. Let's hit a little bit of. Let me hit a little bit of George Kittle here because there's a couple of really good stuff. Let me see which one first. All right, this is cool. So he's on with Pat McAfee. Number one, my God, the background is like a NASCAR behind George Kittle. He's selling a bunch of stuff here. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but anyway, he's got a background where he's selling a bunch of stuff. But they were talking about the Halloween party that the Niners have, and apparently every year, Kittle and Juice pay for the thing, but this year they're going to make Brock pay for it. So this is pretty funny. But there's a great line that Kittle has at the end here in regards to the way that Brock dresses. So take a watch, take a listen.
Buying everything from here on out. Hopefully he pays for the Halloween party this year and it's not me and Juice anymore. But
76 million can put together quite a Halloween party.
Sure, yeah. 265 though.
Yeah,
yeah, 265 could put together a better one.
Yeah, this guy had a roommate though the first 4 years. Yeah. He's making $100,000 a year.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's probably gonna live like he's still got a roommate.
Yeah,
he will.
He's gonna dress like that.
Will.
Yeah, backpack. Yeah. All right, anyways, go ahead.
The Cole's King.
You know that's what they do in the locker room. They call it. You didn't just come up with that. The Cole's King. I was doing pregame. Maybe it was last year, maybe it was the year before, and he came walking in, and I just said, straight from the JCPenney catalog. But the Cole's King is better. I mean, I got to say that I've been upped on that one because I said JCPenney catalog, and he literally was walking in with like khakis. It looked like first day of school, khakis, some kind of bad shirt or whatever it was, in like a backpack, just a normal like backpack. And it looked like it was from like a JCPenney catalog or something, or Sears. But Cole's King, that's amazing. And he called Brock Purdy Cole's King. That's a Cole's Cash. But anyway, there you go. And then here, Camp Kumbaya continues. Remember, OTAs are done. We've got about 40 days until training camp. And here's George Kittle talking about how good things have been this offseason. Got a little extra time, obviously, everybody healing. Here's George on that.
This year, your season ends in January. You get that extra month off. Whether you vacation, take care of your body, whatever you do, that itch to play football and hang out with the boys comes back a little bit quicker. Mm-hmm. And so I think everybody just wanted to be back in the building. And having everybody there, just practicing every day, working out together every day, sitting in meetings every day, it's just really fun. And you kind of build that team chemistry a little bit. Like most of our guys, I'd say we probably had 10 to 15 guys that wouldn't show up until phase 3. And now everybody was there since phase 1. So you just build those relationships a little bit quicker, get to see guys make plays. We have a ton of free agents. We have a ton of young guys. There's some openings on our roster, that's pretty obvious. We had a lot of departures, key departures, and a lot of opportunities for young guys to step up and take advantage of those opportunities. So seeing those guys, kind of make some.
Okay. I can't let him do it. Okay. Look at this whole thing. So I don't know what's going on here as far as this background is concerned, but I mean, it's a NASCAR behind him. Kinder's, Old Spice, Dude Wipes, Jersey Mike's, Bud Light. I mean, my God, what is he not pimping back there? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the thing was. I didn't see the whole interview. I just saw clips of it. So I don't know why exactly all those things are behind him and what's going on here. Certainly he's getting paid for having it behind him, but I don't know that I've ever seen that. I don't really like virtual backgrounds anyway. They're just kind of weird. But I mean, you know what it is? Okay, now I know. See how it says tight end U, 5th year. He's doing what he does between training camp and the last OTAs in training camp is he does tight end university, and all the tight ends go down to Nashville and hang out with him. Those are his tight end U sponsors. I just figured that out on the fly. You probably already beat me to that. But so Kinder's, Old Spice, because I know Bud Light has been for years. Kinder's, Old Spice, Dude Wipes, Jersey Mike's, Bud Light. Those are sponsors for tight end U because he's got the tight end U on the thing there. That's what it is. Okay. I just figured it out. Still, I've never seen that before, regardless. That's crazy. He's like a giant NASCAR behind him, man. That's crazy. So anyway, there is a little bit of George Kittle. My God. Yeah, exactly like you said, man. That's crazy. That's what it is. So he's got all that going behind him because those are sponsors for tight end U. That's what it is. You figured that out, I'm sure, but I was a little slow this morning. I'm sorry. Not a major hangover. I'd call it like a 3 out of 10, maybe. Just a slight headache is all I need. A little food, a little water. Get out and do some exercise, and it'll sweat it right out. All right. Sorry we had to be short today, but I've got some business to take care of this morning, so I've got to make sure. But I wanted to say good morning to everybody and make sure that everybody was doing cool. Had a great time on the bottom of the pint last night. If you're not hitting bottom of the pint on Friday, you're missing out. We had a great time last night. Giants get the big win over the Dodgers. Had a great time. So web gem for episode 165, the SCHMITT Slam, Giants for real. I guess we got to keep asking that question. The Pacers blow the NBA Finals. I think they're going to lose it now. Screaming A's playing solitaire. Durant's latest Minnesota, maybe, is what people are saying. Kittle speaks random. We didn't do enough random things today. I know that for sure. But I apologize for that. But like I said, we had to be quick today. And I just wanted to make sure that that we said hello this morning and made sure everybody survived the bottom of the pint last night, which was a good time had by all. There's no doubt. Hi, JP. What if okay said he'll find a way to back to the Thunder? That's a great point. That's probably a really good point. That's what I'm saying about the Thunder, by the way, JP, is I think they're going to have a dynasty here. If they had not won, though, last night, 3-1, let's say that because the odds are against them, Indiana wins the series. Sam Presti knows, he's their general manager, president of baseball or basketball operations. He was with the Spurs, so he knows how to kind of keep patience, continuity, all those kind of things. But if they don't win the series, like you said, do they freak out? Do they trade some of their youth and depth and picks for Kevin Durant or Giannis or somebody like that and try to skip steps? Because one of the things I'll give credit to the Warriors, they didn't when they could have. There were people like they were talking about moves and all this kind of stuff. And I know they got Durant, but that was just a loophole. And Harrison Barnes was stupid and didn't sign the contract. So it's like, okay, we're just going to go get Kevin Durant then. So I don't think they skipped steps in that. They were already established and had already won a championship. But would the Thunder panic if they didn't win this? And then, it's not a given that you get back every year. And I think championship swag is a real thing. So if they get it, I think it's like we've been there. We've done that. That's what I mean is, okay, we were down 2-1. We were down in the fourth quarter. We came back. We won that game and we won the series. Versus if Indiana wins that game last night, they've got doubt about themselves. We're down 3-1. The front office is going, do we need to go get something else? And they panic and they blow, they give away picks. They give away a key player. All of a sudden, you're not in that window, or at least not as long. So I thought last night was an absolutely critical game, and I thought Indiana had it. And give Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a ton of credit, even though that one play on the baseline, it took about 7 steps after he pushed off. Thank you, Scott Foster, but whatever. Indiana had chances. Ben Mathurin missed 3 of 4 free throws in the last minute. So they did it to themselves. But, that was a huge game last night. So huge, huge game. All right, sorry we had to be quick today, but we had to jump out and we got to get some things done today. But I wanted to make sure everybody survived bottom of the pint last night as we had a really good time. So thanks for joining us for a quick one on a Saturday. Please do make sure that you subscribe to the channel, John Lund Unleashed. Please also make sure that you have those alerts on because we're not done for the day. Breaking news, Dodgers, Giants. If something happens tonight, I'm going to jump back on here. We'll talk more about the game itself. So keep those alerts on so that you know when we're going. We're here Monday through Friday. We start at 9 a.m. Saturdays, we start around 10 a.m. And then after that, it's just when sports news breaks and other stuff. And we put out shorts and all sorts of different videos throughout the day. So please make sure you have those alerts on. Before you get out of here, please hit us with the thumbs up, with the like as well. That would be outstanding. Thanks for watching on John Lund Unleashed on YouTube. Thanks for watching on the Bay Area Sports Collective, as well as X at John Lund Radio. You can subscribe there to me. If you got any questions, comments, thoughts, just hit us right underneath this show if you're watching it a little bit later, and I'll get to those, as well as comments. You can hit me on X at John Lund Radio. Everybody have a great, great Saturday, and we will speak to you soon.
Thanks for hanging out with John Lund Unleashed. We'll try to be better next time, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Please like and subscribe on the John Lund Unleashed Pod YouTube channel. Watch live shows weekdays at 8 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram, and X. And make sure to have your alerts on for shows throughout the day or night. All things Lund can be found at johnlundunleashed.com. johnlundunleashed.com.
Goodbye!